It's called SGB. In fact, I've got a lead vest on, so we're going to walk here through the procedure room. And it's an injection that is made here into the spine to help with that fight or flight response. In fact, Dr. Kruer is going to be walking us through a procedure here to explain just how this works.
It's going to burn a little bit. We're just putting that medicine in, okay?
Dr. Kruer is treating tri-state first responders who suffer from PTSD with a treatment called SGB. Although the treatment is relatively new, Dr. Kruer says the treatment has improved symptoms of PTSD by 83 to 84%. Dr. Kruer allowed me to sit in on a procedure Friday with a Kentucky firefighter. This firefighter, who also served in Afghanistan and Iraq, is one of many who are seeking help. He wishes to remain anonymous, but he allowed us in on his procedure to help spread awareness.
I had not one, not two, but 3 plans that I developed in my own life.
This same treatment, Mark Basie says, saved his life.
Sorry, I'm getting a little emotional.
Basie retired as a police sergeant after serving for 30 years. He says for every first responder, there's always that one call that haunts them. For Basie, it was when a mother witnessed her son die by suicide, and Basie was the first responder.
I put her head on my shoulder, and I calmed her as she sobbed.
As Basie holds back tears, he recalls the moment while on the job when a man pointed a rifle at him and pulled the trigger. Basie suffers from PTSD, but he says his suicidal thoughts ended after his second SGB treatment.
I'm not angry anymore.
Basie says it gave him a new lens to life, calling the post effects as euphoric. Why isn't this talked about?
Well, this is relatively new, and I think people have a hard time talking about PTSD.
If you take a look, you can see there's live imaging happening. This is to ensure preciseness of the injection, which typically patients receive injections in 2 separate visits. But how does it work?
Just going to clean it off here first, all right? It's going to be cold.
Dr. Kruer explains that the stellate ganglion is a bundle of nerves.
It's right here on me. Everyone has that.
In this procedure, you see Dr. Kruer use what is called ropivacaine.
Okay, so the next step is numbing up the skin, lidocaine. Same stuff as the dentist, so it burns a lot, okay?
It's a local anesthetic.
It's 20% in.
Used to numb, or in other words, block, that same bundle of nerves. And the effects of that block are what Dr. Kruer say are beneficial to patients suffering from PTSD. Doesn't local anesthetic wear off?
It does. That's a good point.
Dr. Kruer explains even if the local anesthetic only lasts for a few hours, there's crucial continued benefits from the initial block.
It's almost like a reset button for the sympathetic nervous system, giving people long-term relief from their symptoms.
What the stellate ganglion block does is it takes you from a high burn or a high heat and brings your symptoms down to a simmer.
The procedure isn't covered by most insurances. However, there's still hope. Jo Terry, a widow of a tri-state firefighter, created a foundation in her husband's honor called the Chip Terry Fund. And get this, the fund has been paying for these treatments for first responders. Jo's husband died by suicide in 2017, and she's turned her grief into action to help first responders. Responders like Mark Basie.
And more importantly, they're the people that are protecting us, so we certainly owe it to them to give them something in return.
These SGB treatments for local first responders are made possible because of the Chip Terry Foundation. We have more information about the foundation and the procedure on our website and free mobile news app. Reporting in Fort Thomas, Peyton Marshall, Fox 19 Now.